All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for our fourth strategy session in this series. Today, we're going to talk about how smart brands are supporting teachers. We've completed nurses, first responders, and doctors, and those are all available on our corporate website under the resources section. As per usual, we are going to record this session and send the recording to you immediately following the session, so you can also watch it at your leisure. And there is a Q&A widget on your screen. So if you have any questions during the session, please feel free to add those into that Q&A box, and we'll address those at the very end of the session. So with that, I'll walk us through our agenda for today. We're going to talk about the total addressable market, the profile and psychographics of teachers. We're going to talk about some examples of brands that are reaching teachers today with a personalized offer, and then discuss some best practices and helpful tips on how to reach teachers. Today on screen, I'm joined with Bill Schneider. He's our VP of Product Marketing. We have Angela Modulewski, who's our Senior Marketing Strategist. And we have a guest joining us that we're very excited about, Linda Ingersoll. She's the leader of engagement strategy at MDR, which is a Dun & Bradstreet company. So with that, I'm going to pass the ball over to Bill, and he's going to kick us off with the total addressable market, profile, and psychographics.
Great, thanks, Colette. And hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. So let's talk about teachers. Teachers, they are a large and meaningful segment. Colette, if you move to the next slide. They consist of 4 million K through 12 teachers, 1.7 million college faculty, and 1 million administrators. And they personally spend more than $1.7 billion on school supplies and other products every year. They're extremely dedicated to their classroom. In fact, we poll teachers every year about getting ready for the school year and asking them what they need from brands. And just about every year, they're increasing the amount of money that they're spending personally to get their classrooms ready, which gives you a sense for the dedication that they have for their students and for their classrooms and their work environment. On average, teachers spend over $400 a year. And in some cases, there are teachers that spend up to $1,000 and $2,000 a year. And so for that reason, they are actively seeking out opportunities to save. They are also very loyal to their students and their careers. They stay in their career about 2.5 times longer than a typical professional. And they're incredibly loyal to the brands that support them. In our last study, we found that 94% of teachers will go out of their way to shop with the brands that have a teacher program. And I also wanted to highlight that from our program perspective, we have 99% instant verification of teachers. So if you're thinking about starting a program with teachers, you can have some confidence that the experience that teachers are going to get on the other end is going to be a great customer experience where they'll get instantly verified if they are a teacher. So moving to the next slide, I wanted to also turn our attention to the moment that we all find ourselves in today. Clearly, our environment has changed both from an economic perspective and a health perspective. And we asked teachers, as well as a number of other consumer tribes, what the latest environment has in terms of their day-to-day and what they're looking for from brands in particular. And as you can see, teachers are feeling particularly anxious and overwhelmed in the current environment as they're transitioning or have transitioned their learning environment from the classroom to an online environment in just a couple of weeks. It's clearly upended their routines. And as you can see from the quote on the right, they are really looking for support in helping get their kids ready and their classrooms ready in this new environment. So in addition, they are trying to juggle their new normal, which is taking care of their families while running several of their online classrooms. So the benefits that they're looking for from brands are obviously some financial support in the way of a discount. And the types of categories that they're interested in are categories of convenience and categories of comfort. And those are things like takeout, having something to do at home with craft and home improvement supplies, and also apparel and beauty and personal care categories performed particularly well in our survey. Now, in addition to discounts for and offers for teachers, they also were one of the groups that scored particularly highly in supporting others. And they said that they were looking for brands to help support other groups like frontline health workers, and also they felt that brands that were doing their most to keep employees on the payroll was also seen very favorably. And so those are other things to consider in messaging and engendering a sense of loyalty and trust with teachers if those are activities that you're investing in today. They also indicated that personalized offers will make them feel thankful, valued, and appreciated. And this is an important factor as teachers generally feel underappreciated as a group. And so that gives you a sense for kind of the emotional connection that you can create with these types of offers. The types of offers that performed particularly well was free shipping. That was the top choice, which has specific applicability in the world we find ourselves in today. And also a 20% discount that was a one-time discount or for a smaller period of time. This performed better than a 10% everyday discount, which gives you a sense for the help and support that they're looking for from a financial perspective. In terms of reaching teachers, email, text, and social were the top channels, and email outperformed social actually by a 3-to-1 margin. So it gives you a sense that 90% of teachers felt that email was the best channel to reach them in today in the current environment. So definitely keep that in mind. And Angela's going to talk a little bit more about channels and approaches to reach teachers in the best practices section. And then the last point that I wanted to highlight is that personalized offers are also liberally shared with other teachers in their network. 97% would share a personalized offer with other teachers, indicating the strong word of mouth effect that these offers have as teachers are interested in sharing that with other teachers that they know. Now, Linda, I know that MDR has also recently performed some research to understand the mood that teachers find themselves in their current classroom and also getting ready for back to school. So I wanted to just ask you, were there other data points that that you saw in particular that you think is relevant for today's conversation?
Absolutely. And it occurs to me that next year we should get together on this, because we asked a lot of the same questions and got a lot of the same answers. So definitely confirming that they feel anxious. They're frustrated, but we also found out that they're adjusting to this new normal. And when we asked about what they're looking for the fall and how they're feeling about that, we split those answers into what they're looking for themselves and what they're looking for their students. And some of them match up pretty well. So one of the best ways that at MDR that we found to really engage teachers is to provide them with resources that support them in their classrooms. And that definitely came out on top. For themselves, they're really looking for digital teaching resources, and they're looking for that for their students as well. So of course, everybody's online, they're searching for how do we do this, and they're really looking for those kinds of resources. They also, though, for themselves said, and for their students both, said they're looking for anything that helps them with their emotional well-being. So I thought that was really interesting. 51% said They're seeking out resources and products that will help them with well-being and life balance. They're also looking for school supplies. So we were a little sort of interested in, what is going to happen with school supplies this year? 50% said they're starting to think about that now. School supplies for their students as well as for their own classrooms. And then things like tech support and PD around professional development around online learning came up high on our survey. And for their kids, really support with content beyond the core curriculum. So again, we heard a lot about social and emotional learning, time management, and tech use in those areas. So really mirrored kind of what you found and just went a little bit into what are the resources that you're really going to need to be successful in the fall.
Great, that's good. Thanks for that extra detail. That's really helpful. And I think actually you mentioned emotional well-being was one of the things that teachers were looking for, which is actually an interesting segue into our first success story that I wanted to share. And I'm going to share 2 success stories with you before we get into the best practices, just to give you a sense for some of the outcomes and approaches that brands are using in reaching teachers. So our first success story is with Headspace. Headspace is about emotional well-being. They are, they basically are on a mission to improve the health and happiness of the world through meditation and mindfulness. And they really wanted to honor educators, which they saw as an undervalued group and super pivotal in our society. But they wanted a personalized offer to help engage them. And they felt that a personalized offer for mindfulness and meditation would be a very strong alignment with what teachers are looking for and also aligns with their brand purpose. And they actually took 2 approaches at this program. The first approach, they went directly through school superintendents to deliver the offer and prove eligibility, but they had found that that was really hard to administer. It sounded like a good approach initially, but hard to administer and really scale. And so then they decided to go direct and bring that offer directly on their website. They used the ShareID platform to help verify teachers instantly. And they saw really great results through a 3-pronged strategy to get the word out. The first is using paid and organic social. They also used email to encourage their current subscribers to tell a teacher, and then also worked with other teacher marketing partners to get the word out. And you can see some of the numbers here. They added 25,000 new subscribers for teachers, and they had great performance in their email engagement channel and also on their website channel. And they were also able to reduce fraud. And in some cases, that fraudulent requests were as high as 41% in some countries around the world, which really shows the benefit of proving eligibility to make sure that you're able to protect your margins while driving engagement and revenue. And this program was really successful and is successful for Headspace. They also created a similar program for health workers in the recent environment that we find ourselves in that they just kicked off a couple of weeks ago. So great alignment with their brand purpose and supporting this group. Now, the second success story I wanted to highlight was Targus. And if you're not familiar with Targus, they are a retailer manufacturer of high quality laptop cases and accessories that they've been creating for over 35 years. They were really there in the beginning in the mid 80s when laptops broke onto the scene. And they built a thriving business in working with corporate partners. Like they work with 90% of Fortune 500 companies in outfitting their employees. And they also wanted to build a direct-to-consumer motion through their business. And they did that. One of the approaches they used was putting together a personalized offer program for specific consumer tribes like teachers, as well as military and students. And they needed to raise the awareness of the program and use the offer as a method to help them break through a very crowded marketplace to do so. And in addition to revenue growth, they also saw a strong alignment with what they wanted to support as a company. To quote their e-commerce manager, John Picard, he said that the military serves and protects our country, teachers are educating the future, and students are the future. And so this is an example of how these offers can serve dual purposes, where you are supporting the community and strengthening your brand with that community, and also driving revenue at the same time. You can see some of the results that they saw in number of orders and revenue increase, 3 to 4x growth as they moved to a digital verification program that they were able to promote and scale. And they also saw great results on conversion as these offers were meaningful. They had a 25% off discount that they provided to this group that really helped them get the word out. So I wanted to share those two stories as a kind of anchor point, and then now turn it over to Angela to talk about best practices on what we're seeing work specifically in the field. So Angela, over to you.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I wanted to go over just a few different best practices that we've seen when we're working with clients, and we've seen what's been successful for their offers and for their programs. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was offer and offer type. This example is from Bowdoin. Bowdoin was offering an evergreen 20% discount to teachers. However, with the pandemic, they did offer a 20% discount site-wide to all of their customers. Now, it's really important that the teacher offer or your educator offer is the best offer that you have available. It can't be something that's available to the general public. So what they did is they increased the discount for community heroes, which includes teachers, to 30% for a limited time. So that makes it special and unique to this audience. And teachers do notice that. It's very important. Another way that you can make your offer special is to make it stackable. So if you're offering that 20% discount to your whole audience, you could say teachers get an additional discount on top of that, and they're also eligible for the 20%. So that's another good way to do it. It doesn't have to be a discount. You could also do a giveaway. You could do VIP treatment, free products. Free shipping is very popular, as Bill mentioned. 83% of teachers have told us that a discount of 25% will get their attention. So the bigger you can go and have it still work within your margins, the better response that you're going to get. You can also look at doing special things for limited time offers, like Barnes & Noble normally does a 20% discount, but they did increase it to 25% for Happy Educator Appreciation Day. So there are a lot of opportunities throughout the year to kind of bump it up and make it extra special and kind of create that sense of urgency or timeliness that's really going to drive purchases. On the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about messaging. So there's a lot of different things that work well. Video is always very popular, but the most important thing is really that you're genuine, that you're authentic, and that you're showing appreciation and really recognizing their dedication. That's what's really going to resonate with teachers. They just want to feel thanked and recognized. As Bill said, they're putting in a lot of work. They're putting their own money into their classrooms, and it's just nice to be thanked. So you can see that Michael's does a fantastic job with their page. The text says, "We love teachers," right front and center up top. And then they've also added additional content that really personalizes the page. So they have classroom crafts. They give teachers opportunities to kind of have a little side hustle and teach classes at Michael's. And then they have a special category that they've created just for teacher supplies. So this is a page that clearly speaks to teachers and is special and just for them. On our next slide, we'll look at different channels. It's really important to use your existing channels. I think that's going to add a lot of legitimacy to your offer. If someone has trouble finding it on your website, if it's not in the footer, you don't promote it on the homepage occasionally, it makes it harder to find, but it also makes consumers question whether or not it's legitimate. So it is important to include it in those channels. You can use all of your existing channels because the offer is protected by Share ID. And then a lot of our clients have had a lot of success with paid advertising and paid campaigns with companies like MDR. And Linda can tell you a little bit later about what they do and what they can offer. As Bill mentioned, Targus was a really great example of a company that used all of their channels. They did have their offer live for about a year before they decided to increase the promotions. And that's when they saw those great results that Bill was calling out. And you can see a little example right there of a Targus ad, and they do a really nice job on their social. And Tableau also uses their existing AdWords campaigns, and they do a really nice job with SEO on their landing pages, and that works really well for them. On our next slide, we talk a little bit about personalized content. So Michaels did a great job with this. Wall Street Journal is another brand that offers a lot of different resources to teachers. So they have ebooks, they have complimentary events, virtual events, they have a curated newsletter that's just for teachers, and they offer a lot of course content, some of that digital content that teachers have told us that they're looking for. Intuit also has some special programs that are just for teachers. They have a financial readiness program for teachers and for students, and they have a career readiness program that's for students. So that's going to resonate with teachers who are looking for ways that they can help their students in their career and professional development. And there's also professional development opportunities that are available for educators and teachers specifically. So, this is all in line with these companies' brands. It makes a lot of sense with the products that they offer. And so you can just think about different ways that your brand can create something special, whether it's curriculum or just different opportunities for teachers and for students. On the next slide, we've got some social media tips for you. Here is an example of the Headspace ad that they ran. Bill mentioned that they did some social campaigns, and they did paid and they did organic social media. And then Sprint has also taken an opportunity to do sponsored Instagram and Facebook ads, and they've got their set up to do a lot of retargeting. So if you visit their page, then you will see this ad next time you go onto Instagram, and it just kind of creates opportunities to re-engage and find out more about the program. If you are creating a campaign for the first time and you're going to do a paid campaign, we have a few tips for you, ways that you can get started using job titles and different interests. And a lot of our clients have had a lot of success creating lookalike audiences once they've run campaigns. So that can either be based on who has engaged with the ads that they've created, or some of our clients will take a list of customers who have purchased and converted, and then they'll use that information in Facebook to create their lookalike audiences and target consumers who are similar to the people who have actually purchased. And I know that Linda also has some information from MDR about what they've seen and what channels work best for social for teachers. So she can tell us more about that.
Yes, thanks. So we find that social is a great way to reach teachers. We know that teachers are more likely to be active on social channels across the board than your average American. And especially, they're more likely to be active on Pinterest. So if there is a way if you have content or you can do some kind of advertising on Pinterest, I think they're 2 times more likely to be there. They use it like Google. So if you have some content and you have a Pinterest board up with some content that would be great for teachers, that's just a really great way to reach this audience. It's very different from probably most other audiences that you're trying to reach. They're out there, they're active, they're using it constantly. So I would highly recommend, if you're not present on Pinterest, that you get some kind of presence there.
That's a great tip. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Another thing you can do is you can use PR and press releases and your own communications team to get the word out about your offer, because word of mouth is really important. So on the next slide, I've got an example for you from Target. And Target ran a gated TV years ago. They hadn't done gated offers specifically for teachers before, and it was a 15% discount. So they really launched it and kicked it off to get that word of mouth going with a press release, and they saw pickup in Metro Dailies, NBC, ABC, and CBS affiliates. And that really kind of kickstarted the program, and they saw it snowball from there. They got a lot of PR pickup, and it was a very, very popular offer. So they did repeat the program the following year based on the previous year's success. So you can time your press releases to Teacher Appreciation Month, which is in May, or around back to school. Or, if you're doing something notable, you have a special product come out that could be relevant to teachers, you can create a lot of different opportunities for PR. ShareID also creates PR opportunities for ShareID clients. We'll do kind of an overview of different teacher discounts that are available throughout the year. So the next one that we have coming up is an opportunity for a back to school press release in late July. So if you are a ShareID client and you're interested in that, definitely connect with us and we can help you get started. And then the last thing I just wanted to go over really quickly was affiliate promotions. A lot of people don't think about using their existing affiliate programs, but there are publishers out there who are actively looking for this content and they want to find it. So just putting your teacher offer in your affiliate program can be a really great way to promote it and to get the word out about it. And we have had brands who have seen over 25% of their sales come from their affiliate publishers. So it can be really effective. That was kind of my last tip for you. I wanted to pass it over to Linda again so she can tell you more about MDR and some of the paid opportunities that are out there.
Thank you. I'm going to go super fast because we want time for questions. So MDR is, as we said at the top, a division of Dun & Bradstreet. We've been around for 50 years, and our focus is really on the school channel. So we focus exclusively on schools, teachers, educators, and the reason, one of the best reasons for that is that not only are teachers really great for all the reasons you just heard, but they also have a really large audience that they can influence. So we actually realize that nearly half of the US population is somehow connected to a school, whether that's through educators themselves all the way down to their students and those students' caregivers. So it's a large audience that teachers are really at the center of. So the next slide. And the way that MDR accesses educators is really, we have 3 pillars. So the first one is data. MDR has, again, been in this business for over 50 years, collecting data about the US pre-K through 16 school community. And that data allows us to access educators through email, through direct mail, online, through very targeted means. So we can target all the way down to title. We can target geographically through all those channels. So if you wanted to reach an educator in Des Moines who teaches science, we could do that through email. We could also target that same title through Facebook and on the web as well. Our second pillar is content. So we have some award-winning content creators who create engagement programs for teachers and students, and sometimes also parents. And you can see evidence of this on our website, which I'm going to tell you about next. But we've created award-winning content for companies like PepsiCo and Lysol, and among many other well-known brands, which you can all go see out on weareteachers.com. So that's our third pillar, is our media brand, We Are Teachers. And We Are Teachers actually is the largest and, more importantly, the most engaged educator audience on the web. So that's not only on our website, weareteachers.com, but also on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, so across multiple social channels as well. So if you go to the next slide, more specifics on We Are Teachers. We average about 5 million page or website visits every month. Actually, that went up to 8 million in March and 7 million in April. So, and it's kind of holding at that 7 million mark right now. So just further evidence that teachers are really looking for resources and what to do and advice in this kind of new environment, is that engagement we're seeing on We Are Teachers. 100,000 engaged Facebook users every day. That means they're actually liking or commenting or sharing the content that we're sharing on Facebook, which is really pretty stellar. So because of that, they're seeing more of our messaging through Facebook than other brands. And then you can see the rest of it there, but private Facebook groups, we have an opt-in email newsletter for 700K. So in addition to being able to reach the 95% of the US pre-K through 16 audience via email, we also have this opt-in newsletter for about 700,000 who are super loyal followers of We Are Teachers. And so do you want to go to the next slide, Colette? So for those of you who are on the call, we're actually going to offer a free shout out from We Are Teachers on our Facebook channel. So if you'd like to take advantage of this, you just need to get in touch with me, and I guess we'll share my contact information at the end, by the end of the month. And we'll do a free Facebook post for you and about the offer that you're giving for teachers right now. So that's our thank you to you for being here today.
Thanks, Linda. We also have an offer, and I think, you know, we're you know, that we are all here trying to help brands and also help teachers get connected with these great products that are coming to market. And so we have a new initiative that we announced earlier this week called our Everyday Heroes Initiative. It allows a brand, if you're starting a new campaign, to a hero segment, teachers being one of them, military, health workers, first responders, those are others. We will provide you up to 10,000 verified consumers for your first campaign. So your first campaign is on us, up to 10,000 verified consumers, and you can get up and running with ShareID in just a matter of a couple of days. So if you're interested and that pertains to you and you're running a new program, please go to the URL that's on the screen here, and there's a form there that you can submit, and we'll have somebody get in touch with you and help you get started. So that's brand new and there for you. So Colette, back over to you on Q&A.
Great. So I know we're just slightly over. So there are just a couple questions that we're going to touch on. And I'll leave this slide up here just for folks so you know when our very last session is of the series. But one question that came in, it looks like, how has the pandemic affected teacher engagement? Are they still engaged or have they checked out? And I will leave this one to Linda to answer.
Absolutely. We're finding that they're more engaged than ever. As I said, our traffic on We Are Teachers is just through the roof these past couple months. And so I will tell you that most of them are going looking for resources for things that they can share with their parents, with their students' parents, for content that they can use to teach kids remotely. So that's a huge sort of gap that we're trying to help fill right now. So on We Are Teachers, we created a section called Learning at Home that includes emails. You can sign up for an email based on the age range of your kid. So that's being accessed by teachers and parents who are faced with this new situation of having to teach kids not in a classroom. So super engaged right now, and there doesn't seem to be really any sign of that going away.
Great. And I think this is in reference to, Linda, from when you were talking with Bill. What was the statistic around teachers seeking support for well-being, and how large was the polled segment?
Yeah, the survey itself, I think we had 1,200 respondents to the survey. It was last week. And well-being, the question was, what resources are you seeking for yourself in this new environment? I'm paraphrasing there, I can get you the real question. But 51% said that they were seeking resources for themselves around well-being and life balance.
Great. And I think that answered his question, so thank you. And then, so lastly, if you had to choose, what is the one best way to engage teachers? So maybe Linda, you can touch, and then Angela, if you have any thoughts on that as well, feel free to.
Yeah, I think I think both Angela and Bill mentioned email. Teachers are very receptive to email. I'm not picking email as my one. If I had to just pick one, I would say influencers, and getting your message out through many influencers is probably the best way for teachers to engage. They're very open to that peer-to-peer recommendation. I think, as you said, Angela, like they really respect that. And then they also will share. So I think it has just the potential to really grow pretty quickly going through influencers. So that's the one I would pick if I had to pick one.
Great.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Linda. But when it comes to using your own existing channels, I would recommend email and really creating those segmented lists. One great way to do that is by using the opt-in on your verification page and then hitting them with that really personalized content that it's specific to educators. I think that's going to be your most effective channel.
But one thing that I'll also highlight that might be overlooked is organic search is also a very strong traffic driver. So as you're creating your page and your landing page, make sure that it's optimized for search. And Angela also talked about using a technique to add the offer in the footer of your website. That helps build SEO juice because you've got multiple links on your site pointing to the single page. And typically, particularly if you're a well-known brand, teachers will look and see if, they'll type in well-known brand teacher discount or teacher offer. And you want to make sure that you're top of the list there, and you'll be able to generate a lot of traffic through that.
That's a great point, Bill. Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I know we ran a little over. We'll send out the slides immediately following, along with Linda's contact information and a few other resources. And feel free to join us, register for our last session on June 4th. And we're going to be talking more about students. So have a wonderful 3-day weekend if you get to celebrate Memorial Day weekend. And we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.